Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the weekly playlist. I can't believe it's Friday already. Man, this week is really flown by, but since it's Friday, that means it's time for me to share with you guys the games I have been playing during the week, let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on the game and whether I recommend them to you or not. I would love for you guys to share with me the games you guys have been playing during the past week, and if you have any recommendations on a title you think I should check out, please let me know because you guys always recommend really fun titles, and I have a nice little list going of games to keep an eye out for while I'm out game hunting. So we'll start off here. I actually only have one game to share with you this week. I've only been playing one game a little bit every day. It's for the Xbox One. I've been having an absolute blast with it, and I actually just beat it yesterday, and I was so excited to have it beat. It was a really fun game, and I definitely plan to run through it again here down the road, but, I've got other games I want to play this next week, so we'll be putting this one on the shelf now that it's beat, and that title is Terminator Resistance for Xbox One. An awesome Terminator game, my favorite Terminator game. Of all the Terminator games I have in my collection, this is by far the best one, and is an amazing game, and definitely suggest it for any fans of the Terminator films, especially the first two. You will absolutely have a blast with this game. Now, this is from that what was that studio? That Teon studio. They're the ones that made that Rambo game. That was an arcade game that they ported to PlayStation 3, and it was supposed to be on Xbox 360, but it never got released and had a lot of hate on it. But it was because it was an arcade game that was ported to the PS3, which is an on-rail shooter, and had that come out like 5 years before when it actually had come out a few years ago, it would have done a lot better. It's just it came out too late. Like if it had come out earlier generations when people were more into those kind of games, I think it would have done a lot better. But that studio really did an amazing job with this Terminator game, and I've heard good things about that Rambo game from my buddy Dean, so I definitely will have to play that one just to give it a try and see how I like it. But Terminator Resistance is awesome. Now you can get this for Xbox One, PS4, or on the PC and Steam and stuff. Now I know where getting a physical copy of this game is just really hard to get here in North America. Extremely rare. The print run was super low. There's no copies left in my state at all. None of the retailers, no Best Buy has no copies, no Walmart, no Targets, no local game stores, no GameStops. Nobody has any. And there's a few copies on eBay, and now people wanting $150, $200 for a copy just because they know how rare it is. Amazon says there might be some copies available in the future, but you never can trust that. You never know if they're going to ever get restocked. So I was so happy I got lucky and got mine at a GameStop that I used to go to. Somebody canceled their pre-order, so I was able to pick that up. I paid the $60 for it, and it was definitely, for me, it was worth the $60. Now, if you want to play the game and not have to spend the full 60 and you got a PC, you can get it on Steam for like $40. And a couple of people have told me that, more and more people have really been enjoying this game, and there have been a lot more positive reviews. There was a few big YouTubers and and websites when it first came out that were really hating on it, but there's been a lot more fan support and a lot more people really enjoying the game and giving it a chance and really enjoying it, which I definitely think you guys should try it out if you're a fan of the Terminator series. You like first-person shooter with some RPG elements in it. This is the game for you. It's really awesome. There's a lot of chapters in the game. I think there's like 24, 25. So the game breaks up into chapters, and you have story, and then you have missions to do. So you have the main quest that you work on, but they also have little side quests you can work on for different characters. And doing stuff for different characters can make them like you or dislike you, and it can actually affect the ending, which there's a couple different endings. I did watch the ending, and I did get one of the best endings, and it's really left up to interpretation whether how bad do you think the ending is or how good do you think the ending is. Kind of up to your interpretation, but this definitely is a sequel to both Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and it ties everything up really nice in the future war leading back to them sending Terminators back and Skynet and the battle with them and everything, and it was just awesome. I loved the story, and I liked the little twist at the end, the little reveal about one of the main characters in the game, which I really liked. So you play as a new guy, River Jacobs, army, a guy in the Resistance, and that's the character that you play as, and then you run into other characters, of course, in the story and interact with them, and it's really fun. There's a nice variety of Terminator, so there's not just your plain old T800s that you see from the movies. They have those, but there's variations on them and some upgraded ones, which is really cool. But they do have some other Terminators that you didn't see in the movies. Like they have little spider dudes that shoot electricity and try to zap you. Then they have these spider droids that are big, taller, with machine guns built in. You have little flying guys. Of course, you have the HK tanks that you saw in the movies. Those real big guys with the little lasers on their arms and the heads. They kind of look like Rob the Robots. You have those guys in the game, and then you also have the HK little flying guys that you saw in the future battles in the Terminator movie. So they have all those in there, which is awesome, and you can fight all of them. And it's really fun to have that variety of Terminators. I also love the music in this game. They had the music right from the movies, and in some of the action sequences, that Terminator theme, they have it like set to like a metal version of it. It's really awesome and really gets you pumped up. I also like some of the atmospheric music, like some of the music plays when it's like quiet and you're sneaking around and stuff, especially in the downtown city. I really like the music, and it gets that kind of like eerie feel to it. Now, when you start off the game, there were some people were complaining because they didn't get far enough. They're like, "Oh, where's the laser weapons? The red, the purples, and all the plasma weapons that they have." Well, at the beginning of the game, you just start out with standard conventional weapons with bullets, and those can take care of the little Terminators. But once you first run into your first T800s, you have to do stealth because you can't damage them with those bullets because they're immune to them. Like when you saw in the movies when they were shooting the Terminator and stuff, the bullets did absolutely nothing to them because of the endoskeleton, was built to withstand conventional weapons. However, they are susceptible to plasma weapons. Well, if you get further into the story, you eventually can start using plasma weapons, which you can then use against the Terminators to beat them. So that was a problem a lot of the early reviewers had, is they didn't get far enough. They play like the first level or two, and that was it. And then, oh, well, it doesn't have the plasma weapon, so it's just a shit game, it doesn't have anything. It's like, well, you have to get to it, and I like that they didn't give you the strongest weapons at the beginning of the game. You had to work your way up to it, which I like. You have to work to it. So that was something I like, and let me let you know that there are definitely plasma weapons in the game from the movies, the reds and the purples, so you'll definitely get to those later in the game. You just have to progress the story enough to get into that part, and it makes sense for why the Resistance and stuff is using conventional weapons at first before they get a hold of the plasma weapons that they steal from Skynet. The voice acting I do like in this game. I think the people they chose for the various characters fit the characters well. It looks like, okay, that definitely a voice would come from that person. I know people said they didn't like the dialogue was kind of like stale or whatever, but I enjoyed it, and I thought the voice actors did a pretty good job, so I enjoyed that part of the game. I loved the story on this. It was awesome. I also loved the crafting in this game, so you can craft different weapons like the pipe bombs, different little bombs. You can make ammo. You can craft lock picks because you can actually pick locks, which is very important. Make sure you get your lock picking skill, hacking skills, and crafting skills up, because those come very key later in the game to unlock secrets and stuff and different routes through areas. In a locked door you can unlock, and you also can use that to find resources, which is another thing I would recommend. Is when you go through these levels, they're set like little open worlds where you can explore your own way, do side missions if you want, and go to the main objective. And you can pick different ways to go through. Like you could decide to go through stealth your whole way. You could go guns blazing your whole way. Now me, I destroyed all the Terminators in every level because I wanted to get their resource, because you can loot their bodies and they have valuable resources, and they also have upgrade chips, which once you get into the later plasma weapons, you can actually upgrade those with more to do more damage, to have a larger clip, to fire faster, so they don't overheat as fast. And those come from the Skynet destroying their Terminator. So it's really cool to loot the game, and there's a lot of loot spread out in every level, so you can really take your time, which is what I did. I got a lot of hours in this. I probably put in at least 15 hours into this game. Now, you could rush through and beat the story really quickly if you wanted to, but, I wanted to absorb myself in the world and just explore and look at the damaged landscape and stuff, and I just had an absolute blast with it. Now, the graphics aren't the best in the world, so I will warn you about that. It's kind of like 360 comparable graphics, but it still looked pretty good on my 1080p TV. Um, it does say it's Xbox One enhanced, which I don't have an Xbox One X, so I don't know how much better it would look on there. But graphically, it don't have to have the best graphics in the world as long as you have a fun game to play. And this is a fun game. If you're a Terminator fan, you will absolutely love this, especially if you're a fan of first-person shooters. So this is one of my favorite games that's come out in 2020 now. Absolutely love this. I'm so happy that I got a copy for my collection. I just have to warn, if you want to get a physical copy, you might have to pay the money for it, or hope down the road you can get a used one, or maybe we'll get a restock from it. Otherwise, you can always buy a digital copy. But if you're going for a physical, just keep an eye out for it. It's just extremely rare and become very pricey, but I'm so happy to have this in my collection. Another really cool thing is this did come with a code to unlock two digital comic books that take place before the game and goes into the story of two of the characters in the story, and I really liked it. I just actually read through those yesterday after I beat the game, and it was really cool having those little digital comics to read through, so that was cool. I wish they would have been physical. That would have been a nice little bonus item, but you do get that in a physical one where you can read through those Terminator comics, so really fun game. Like I said, definitely suggest you guys pick it up, especially if you're a fan of first-person shooters and that you enjoy stuff like that. And I will warn you, to turn the difficulty up as high as you can, because on the easy difficulty, especially once you start leveling up, you'll just breeze through and destroy all the Terminators. So probably playing on the hardest difficulty would be the best. I played on the second hardest difficulty, and it was still, fairly easy, but I was playing it more for the story than just having it be like a absolute devastating like difficulty. But it will add up into the fun factor if you do that. There are some really cool battles, especially, I don't want to ruin it, but the final battle in the game is just awesome. The music just gets you pumped up, and the battle with the Terminator, it was a fun fight. It was my favorite fight in the game, was that last battle. Absolutely awesome. They talk about, there's other, characters from the movies and stuff, they talk about them. And there's one big character you get to meet, which I don't want to ruin who it is, but it was just really cool meeting that person. It was absolutely awesome, and just loved how it tied in right to the movies. This is a nice prequel to Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and explains some stuff like that, and it was just really fun. And it's definitely something I would love to see another Terminator game. There's easily tons and tons of stories they could do in that future setting, so they could easily make another game in this series. They could even do a DLC for this, which they never talked about, but that would be really awesome if they decided to release some other characters, create some new characters and have some side stories and stuff that's going on during this game story, and have some other soldiers or stuff and things going on. That would be really cool. But I definitely recommend you guys check out Terminator Resistance. You can get it on Xbox One, PS4, digitally on those marketplaces. Like I said, you can get it on Steam for like $40, and it's a really fun game. If you're a big fan of Terminator, definitely think you guys should check it out. Normally I would do a recap, but since we only have the one title, we just talked about how Terminator Resistance is a really good Terminator game. Best Terminator game I've ever played. Now, it's not the best game in the world, but it is very fun, and I think you guys will really enjoy it, and I think you should check it out. So let me know your guys' thoughts on Terminator Resistance, if you played it yet, if you want to play it, what your thoughts are on this game. I'd also like to hear what games you guys have been playing lately. And of course, if you have any recommendations on a title you think I should check out, please let me know, because you guys always recommend really fun titles. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. Have an amazing day. And Sleepy, we'll see you guys next time.